Hey guys, it's one more lesson for you, and it's all about maybe the most expressive technique on the electric guitar. Uh, this technique pretty much defines how you sound to other people. It's all about bending and vibrato. And believe me when I tell you that if you can make your notes sing, it doesn't really matter if you sweep like a demon or alternate pick like crazy. You still will come off as an amateur in your playing. So it's critical to practice this stuff and not leaving it to chance and sound like you're torturing your cat or something. So let's start. Okay, so most beginners just push the fingers up and down, but as you will find out that is not precise at all and gives you basically zero control over the strings. The whole motion of the technique is just like twisting a doorknob. Okay, just like that. If you know how to twist a doorknob, you know that you use your forearm and your wrist to do it. Same way applies to bending and vibrato. Fret a note, you don't wiggle your fretting finger, it remains still, stationary, and just twist the doorknob. Okay, so that way you have great stability and control. Also try to have your thumb over the neck when you do this technique. You may play some phrase where it's a fast legato or a fast alternate picking, like where maybe you need your thumb behind the neck, but for good vibrato and bending you will always have your thumb climb over the neck. Okay, so that's basically the technique. The next step is to be able to do it with all fingers. For example, don't even rule out the little finger, because of course it's not that strong, it's not strong at all, but you will have many phrases ended on a little finger. So instead of juggling around, you can do this. Fret with the little finger, have your third and second come and push for support, and use the same technique as we mentioned before. Twisting, 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 okay, the doorknob. One more thing I want to show you is the way you mute this kind of bending, because when you, for example, bend, if you don't use them, let's say we bend with the third finger, sometimes, as you can see, the strings may get caught and you may hear some harmonics, or you may hear simple noise coming from them, and you basically and this is basically the last thing you want to hear. You want to hear just the bend. So to prevent all of this from happening, you just bend the note, but also extending your index finger. If you extend your index finger, it mutes all the lower string. It keeps your bend pure. It keeps your bend without noise. Okay? So it's very important to include it in your practice. Of course, sometimes a line requires to bend upwards, sometimes it requires to bend downwards. For the most part, if you are bending the low strings, the D, A and E, you will want to bend downwards. If you bend the high E, of course, there's no other way, it's upwards. The B and G is the B, of course, most of the times it's upwards, and the G, you have a choice, up or down. Basically, the most important bends, the most soulful bends will be done in the treble strings, so you have to get your bending upwards very, very good. Okay, but as I've said before, you can try anything. Of course, The only thing that can stop you are physical limitations. Because, for example, if you want to bend the whole step from the B, you can see that you can't bend downwards, you don't have enough space, okay? So, see what's working and what is not, but at all times try to execute the technique as we mentioned in the beginning. So, twist the doorknob, okay? Leave your finger stationary and push.
It's
okay,
5 o'clock.
Using that motion as we described. All the things, all the other things will follow, okay? The duration of the bend, whatever you want to accomplish. The main point is for bending and especially for vibrato is to always return to pitch, okay? So, for example, let's say this note again. Okay, as you can see, the vibrato is simply a series of small bends. So, returns to pitch, returns to pitch. Okay. If you don't return to pitch and do it like most people do it like this, this is not very musical. You don't hear it very well. Okay, you want the vibrato to sing. You can always exaggerate it, okay? But you really want it, you want to be able to hear it like a singer does it, okay? So you basically want it pretty slow and pretty wide. Experiment as much as you want, but keep the basic principles in your mind, okay? All you need to do is master this technique, and after you execute it enough times, you will see that it becomes second nature. So, if you want, leave your comments below about how you do your vibrato, but the way I've showed, the vibrato I have showed you is the vibrato that players use 9 times out of 10. It's the rock vibrato, okay, the metal, even blues. It may not apply to jazz or classical music, where they don't want this kind of fluctuation. They use side-to-side vibrato, the classical vibrato, okay, but if you want to play anything resembles rock music, pop music, things like that, this vibrato is a sure bet. Okay, so that's enough from me. I leave you to practice this technique and tell me how you like it. Have fun!